therefore. But there is also new concepts of selling, which I think are the most revolutionary ones, which is the comeback of market. And therefore, we will speak with Kavita Parmar, who invented this concept for a craft market in Spain. And she will share with you her way to go there and her experiences with what it means to be close to very close to the consumer, where the consumer becomes part of the environment and part of the fun and the being together. Kavita, welcome.
Thank you, Lee. What an incredible morning it's been for you guys, for us, the afternoon. What amazing stories, and so beautiful to see the new generation coming out of Polymoda doing such gorgeous work. It's like you realize how one has to sow the seeds for you to reap. I mean, I remember when you and Philippe started the project so many years ago. And so congratulations. And of course, congratulations on your board and all the amazing, I loved it when you called this the World Hope Forum. I feel always that you open the news and everything's so negative and so disempowering, because one feels like you can't do much. But then you hear these gorgeous stories, and as little and as they're like beacons of light that make you continue to want to work and grow. And yeah, so thank you so much. I'm going to try and share. I'll try and be very visual. I'm sure everyone's a bit tired. We've had such amazing things that we've been shown today. Let me know if you guys see my full screen. And hopefully, can we see the screen now?
Yeah.
No? Not yet?
Maybe, let's see.
Sometimes it takes a bit, but I can try again. Zoom has
yeah, there's something with, is this PDF?
Yeah, I have to always go back and start again. Zoom has this little trick. Let me see if I can do it this time. Does it work?
Perfect.
So thank you for inviting me to talk. I mean, everything that everyone has said is true and more. There's so many things that are on the way. There's still so much work to be done. And the most exciting part, I feel, the moment that we're living, is that we've all come to the conclusion that we really can't wait. We have to do it ourselves. We have to make it happen. Whether it's you starting a new way of educating from ground zero to now us, making a new format of production, as we saw in Antwerp, or new ways of producing as a designer. To me, being part of this entire system, one of the parts that most frustrated me was the access to market. Even though it felt like, because we had the internet and everyone could open an online store, we had more access to market. But that, as we know, is not true, because in reality, market, having a shop online is like opening a store in Timbuktu. You have no access to market unless you pay the gods and build the roads of, from paying advertising. So that's kind of where, in that frustration, going to all these other wholesale fairs, traveling the world, seeing how independent retail was even suffering because they now couldn't afford to buy us independent labels, I thought we had to do something. And so we came across this idea. I started working on it in 2018, and the first one we created in 2020. It took us 2 years in Mexico City, and you guys were very much part of it. So that was really exciting. You've seen this grow from day one. The idea was to create a retail experience that was beyond just, going to buy something. We wanted to not only sell a product, but sell an idea of another way of living, another way of consuming, another way of participating in this economy, in this new economy that hopefully will not only be extractive, but in some way could be regenerative. So it's been quite an exciting story with lots of ups and downs. We've had a pandemic in the middle, But the amazing part is it hasn't stopped growing. So that's also quite exciting. And it's all been word of mouth, which is another thing that really makes me very proud of what's happening. We felt the timing was really important. There's a shift that's happening in the world. There's lots of incredibly powerful technology that's coming through. And how we're going to use it, instead of us being overwhelmed by it, was really important for us to think about. To us also, it was very important that us, the artisans, the artists, the designers, the makers, that we participate, that we don't become just another, we don't just get taken into a destination by this economy that seems to be built on attention. Could we do something to help people express themselves, feel better about themselves? And who else but us, the makers, who we can sort of do anything from, I remember first time going to, weaver's hut and seeing how easily they could do something with no electricity, with nothing but a piece of fiber, make something gorgeous. I felt like it was important for us to take back the space and do something beautiful. So with XTANT, which basically is a word that means still existent, it was kind of a cry of here, we're here, and we want you to see us, and we haven't disappeared. We wanted to bring together the world of art and craft, which in some way felt divorced. We eventually moved to Mallorca during the pandemic because the original idea was to actually travel the world with it, very ambitious. But that's where, in fact, Lee was the one who guided us and said, I think you should find a place and make it home. People want to come back every year. Now that we're all such nomads, it'd be lovely to come back to a place every year and feel like we're revisiting. And so Mallorca became home. Mallorca, which is a really interesting island, which has also been always very attractive to craftspeople, to artisans, has an incredible history in trade, and still has an amazing textile tradition that was alive. And we were lucky that the government of Mallorca was nice enough to give us access to these most amazing buildings, museums, because they understood what we were trying to do. So we take on for this week, these amazing patios, and convert them with our textiles into magical spaces and we also have been given different places around the island, which isn't very big. You can half an hour to an hour, you can travel anywhere. And what we do is create these very immersive experiences, which are beyond, and I believe are the future of retail in some way. So this past one edition, which was our 5th edition, we took in 75 artists, artisans, designers. We try and be as interdisciplinary as possible, because the idea is that all of these disciplines actually help each other tell the story even better. We have a lot of videographers, photographers who come and actually document a lot of these artisans who probably are unable to talk about their work. Right next to an incredible artist whose work might be in the best gallery, we have an incredible artisan who you might not know about, but they're incredibly specific and have been brought there. The interesting part about the market is we actually go through a curation work of about a year. And we really try and find the best of the best. The idea is to really inspire the next generation with these incredible stories of people doing work that is amazing, beautiful, but also beautiful in its soul and the impact it has on the community that they're working with. So there's over 35 countries represented last year. We build a space together because it is a communal effort. We want everyone to feel part of it. We don't have stalls, so you don't have your own space. In fact, what is really beautiful that happens at XTANT is people actually share space and help each other, tell each other's story. So that for us is really important. There's a lot of texture, lots of fibers. It's all natural fibers, of course, and lots of incredible work that speaks to each other from across different continents, which, when you have them together, you really understand that at the base of it, the language of the hands is very similar, no matter what language you're speaking. We also set up a fabric shop because our idea is to also help a lot of people. to come and be access to make things on our own, because we're not only trying for you to just buy, we want you to promote, to make things. And so this has been a huge success. We get amazing fabrics, but also to me, the most important thing that happens at XTANT are these deep, magical conversations between people who've never met or from different parts of the world, and they get to have this week together. We also have a lot of quiet places where you can actually go and listen to someone. There, Pascal was doing an incredible thing about a nonviolent communication, and we got together and had a conversation early in the morning. So a lot goes on in these 5 days, and you've got to find your own rhythm and your own things that you want to participate in. You can come, touch, try, learn, make, help put together, have conversations. It's actually quite an intense 5 days. Anyone who is a textile addict like me, it is like a watering hole for your soul for the rest of the year. You definitely will not go back untouched. You will go back with lots of friends and having learned a lot, because the other thing we focus on is in these rare fibers, rare textures that have nearly disappeared. We bring them on so people can talk about. XTANT is also a lot about humans. It's a lot about these people who are, in spite of it all, these crazy humans who do things that are extraordinary at whether the very micro level or a much larger organization. That's also the other thing that we love, that you might have this artisan who's working alone next to a non-for-profit organization with over 2,000 weavers working with them. We definitely hug a lot. We all end up, it's so intense. There's no other way, because, you know, I think we're all textile people, we're huggers, and you end up going with these amazing friends back home. It is a festival of joy with no questions asked. Every night ends up being either a party, music, dance. People end up becoming best friends. People end up making projects together, which is also super exciting. So yeah, I can show this. I mean, it's endless, all the incredible work that's been going on. We've also done sometimes outside. This one we did 2 years ago outside. They gave us a beautiful space outside the cathedral. We got together and built this beautiful tent. We worked together there. We've had some amazing humans come as well and participate, whether by giving workshops, because we also have workshops that you can sign in during those 3-4 days. So it's not just about going to buy or as a collector, go to collect something unique. It's also about learning and doing, and maybe as an artist expanding your horizon and learning a new technique or learning about a new dye that you never heard about. So there's a lot of exchange of knowledge that happens, which is quite exciting. Of course, we have tables, talks and round tables. Lee has been kind and every year comes and shows us something new, shares with us. We've had Lee's book, of course, release a few times. And next year that we're using the word sacred, we're excited about working on an idea of sacred together. Again, try to give voices to the unheard, to the ones that haven't been given the mic for a while. So lots of voices from the global south, lots of voices of the very young and the very old, which I think are really important right now to listen to, whether it's the experience or the lack of it that makes a fresh perspective. We also run a little leadership program, which I'm very proud of. It's a crazy idea. It sort of was like this Google, moonshot factory. We wanted to create a space of mentorship for people who we felt were already doing extraordinary work, and we bring them together. We handpick these 25 people. We bring them together to a very special place. This happens a week before the event, and we've had Dr. Vandana Shiva. We've had some amazing speakers come and spend real quality time with us. We talk about all the way from regenerative agricultural practices to whether it's AI and machine learning, have real debate and discussions, which can get nice and hot sometimes. People who don't agree with each other, we allow for us to speak up and actually have the patience to listen. There's a lot of hands-on work as well that gets done. You never are away from touching and doing things with your hands. And it's really exciting to see how someone who probably works in finance, working right there next to someone who works as an artisan, to work together. The space, of course, Mallorca is an island. It's so gorgeous that it's so inspirational just to wake up in the morning and see. We also do some yoga and physical exercise together. So it's a real full-on intense week that by the end of it, you're emotionally just like absolutely overwhelmed with. I think it's, as an artist and artisan, sometimes you're working alone. It's so important to come to a space where you can share your frustrations and you can share how you feel about things. This year, we built this absolutely beautiful architectural space where we then drew lines with with ink that we made from the earth. It was a whole performance that we did at the Museum of Modern Art at the end of it, which was absolutely gorgeous. So it was, you know, we get lots of beautiful letters from all these humans who have become part of XTANT, and they come back years later. Every year we've had people come back who either come back as, you know, participants who propose ideas of how this thing can grow. This year we also added another aspect, which is doing a beautiful exposition. The island has really realized how interesting the kind of humans it brings forth. So we did we were lucky to get this beautiful building, a 13th century sort of a tower, where we put together a gorgeous fiber exhibit with over 16 artists from around 20 countries. The exhibit is still on, and we've had just nothing but most amazing words for it. So I think this is going to also continue for us. It also allows us for space to put together very different languages and textile for people to see and discover it in a completely different way. It's been amazing the amount of press we've gotten. We have no budget to pay for press. As Lee was saying, it's so hard to get the word out, but we've been lucky. It's been word of mouth. I'm not going to bore you. It's been just amazing to have people from AD ship someone over to get amazing photos. But the cool part is that they actually really get the message. They understand what we're trying to do, that this isn't about just fashion. It is about something deeper. It's about a language that fashion was and has been to us, and how we can take that language back. So I'm proud to say that this year, I think it's been more than, there is Lee, of course, and Philippe have mentioned us in this beautiful magazine you're going to hear about. It's been quite an amazing year. I can say that even though I finished exhausted, I was really proud of the amount of noise this has made around the world. And we already have started to get incredible amount of people reaching out to us from all over the globe saying they want to come and they want to help us build this, and they want to see it grow because they think it's fundamental that there are spaces of this nature where it's not just about consumption, but it's about empowering everyone to understand that we can rebuild a new economy that is more regenerative, that is more co-created together. So I let it go with inviting all of you to the next one. The word for the next one is waka, which is a Quechua word for sacred. We feel like it's an important moment to reflect over what is sacred to us as humanity before we go into this crazy transhuman world that we're all going to go into, whether we want or not. And so it would be interesting to have that reflection, and textiles have always been part of that conversation. So thank you so much, and thank you for giving me the time. I'm really excited. I think we have a lot to do. I'm sure we have a lot to improve, but all ideas and all hands are welcome.
Thank you, Kavita.